It's been a while since I've done this. I don't know if I can remember everything. Anyway, it's just going to be a quick stream here. Um, really, just to say hello, because I know it's been a while since I've done a live stream. Yeah, it actually is a success. Oh, there you go. Nothing really technically interesting going on with this one. And I've lost my chat comment already. In fact, things have changed that I don't even have to keep track of the chat screen anymore because YouTube does it for me. Hey, Ashes. Let's see. Clean up the mess of this desk. I've really been quite bad with my cleaning of things lately. I've had way too many other things going on. Hey, Paulie, Greg. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a change around here. The whole house situation and my workshop. It was originally going to be that we have more people moving in here, but we would retain the portion of the house that we're in now. And unfortunately, that's been flipped around, and we've got to go up to a much smaller section. Fortunately, I did manage to negotiate to keep the workshop here, but I lose two of my storage rooms, so all behind me I have to make a complete set of shelves and storage areas, all that sort of stuff, because I'm not going to be able to fit the rest of the equipment and stock that I keep on hand in those other rooms. So it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze. I'm going to look like some sort of Bangladesh corner market shop. Yeah, this is just a crack screen. Nothing interesting. That's why I'm doing the stream while I'm doing this, because I've got a reasonable chance of not making a complete mockery of it while I chat. So I've got to get air conditioners installed, I've got to get bathrooms fixed up, I've got to get new fences built. The reason why I've got to get new fences built is because, as most of you know, I've got 3 cats, and they're not going to really enjoy being squeezed into the much smaller area that they're going to be pushed into. I lose all the really large fenced area out the front. So I think it's about 250, 300 square meters they're going to lose. Hey, Mario. This sticky black stuff. Oh, crikey. They've got a hell of a bend in this. That's not good. That's really not good. Hey, Joshua. I don't know if you guys can... Yeah, you can see that bend in there. That's going to be fun. Not in a good spot. Yeah, I am not going to push that bend out. The person's got a case on it already. I'll just tell them that, well, it's where the circuit board is. I don't really want to put too much pressure on that. Last thing I need is CPU deciding to develop a crack, and there's no phone, no data. Worst of all, no money for me. The trouble, Greg, with it all being in one room is there really isn't enough room. And then I've got to fit an administration computer in here as well. The main workstation that I'm on when I'm doing all the non-repair stuff. Taxes, invoicing, customer relations, watching YouTube videos, wasting time. So yeah, it's going to be an uncomfortable squeeze for me. On the upside, it hopefully should only last around about 12 to 18 months, and then we'll finally get to move out into my own home again. It's been a long time since I've owned a home, and I really want to get it. I really, really, really do want one. Ah, for goodness sake. I know some people just cut this, but I prefer to just pull it back. There we go. The whole Easter break that we just had, or at least here in Australia, that spudger is just too thin. It has made a complete mess of all the normal process. Not a big fan of public holidays around here. Mostly because the country goes to sleep and nothing gets done. Come on, off you go. There you go. Hey, Sitki. No 7 heads. At least not yet around here. At least not yet. Ah, g'day, Aaron. Yeah, can't say I'm too pleased about the bend in that, but like I said, it's not that severe that the screen won't fit back on, but it will be something I have to notify them about and say, look, you know, it's when I hand it back to them and say, you're going to have a bend there, so don't think it's my fault. I would be preferring to do MacBook repairs or something, but I'm still building up on that. And I made a great big boo-boo the other day. I just get these on. With my job submission forms on my website for sending in, well, yeah, just job requests. Like people want to say, oh, look, you know, I've got this that's broken. Can I send it in? I fell back to my old school days, and everything was just plain text on the form, as in for the email. It was just a plain text email. There was no HTML portion or whatever. And it seems like now that the pendulum has swung such that if you send plain text emails, for the most part, they're going to get classified as spam. And I was wondering, I just thought it was slow marketing or something like that. But I was wondering why I wasn't really getting any job requests lately. And lo and behold, it turns out that Google had decided that my plain text emails were spam classifications to my own mailbox. Even though I put a whitelisting on that address, Google still said, no, we think that's spam, buddy. So anyway, I lost a couple of jobs on that. Understandably, I mean, people aren't going to wait around that long for an answer to these things. It is fixed up now, but yeah, a bit of a pain in the butt. Public holidays, I think the problem is that there's too many of them a lot of the time, and they usually, particularly things like Easter, they happen in a really unfortunate sort of pattern that seems to be provides a maximum disruption effect. And of course, you know, it knocks me a little bit that it's for the zombie Jesus riding on a raptor. And I'm not religious, and we're supposed to be a secular state. And it's like, I'd rather see people have, say, I'd rather people have the option of when they want to take their public holiday. Now, I understand why it isn't that way, because it makes it very difficult if people want to make holidays with their kids. You can't really pull kids out of school or whatever. But as it currently stands, it's just so damn expensive for the country and everyone else to have these public holidays. Anyway, just gonna make sure I don't get customers turning up at the door. I'm on my own here at the moment, which means if someone hits the doorbell, I probably won't hear it because I'm at the wrong end of the house. Oh man, I am not in the groove today. There's some days you just can't seem to get your screws in right or anything like that. That was way out. For all those people who were watching Lewis Rossman's video the other day where he was promoting my software and such, just thanks very much to everyone who was a new subscriber or sent the donations and things like that. Greatly appreciate it. What I would like to see now is for Lewis to actually update that multimeter software with the version that I did fix up, but doing software updates quickly is not his thing. Oh, come on, what's going on here? You're not grooving with me today, are you, phone? There we go. Make sure it works before I... Okay, well, at least that boots. Let's see. Incoming in... Yeah, Greg, that's right. The Google saw the mail as plain text and said, oh, this must be spam. No one uses plain text anymore. Yeah, you're right about that, Lewis. It's sort of... Okay, so that's good. Oh, well, emergency. You've got to make sure the numbers work. Yep. Can't stand watching rude people. What did Lewis do that was rude? I mean, he can... Oh, well, I suppose that's between you and your choices. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, he'll get around to updating that software. Because if you watch that video, you'll see that the multimeter, the digits, when you go from, say, broad digits such as 88888 or whatever, and then back down to 0 or 1s, because it was variable width text and it wasn't overwriting the old text, so it looked pretty damn ugly. And then the characters for ohms and mu were not showing up properly. God, I really am out of it today. Anyway, so it's all fixed up now. I just gotta wait for him to update it. And then it should look considerably better. It was a bit of a tricky project because I didn't have one of those multimeters here. So I couldn't really verify everything about it. I really did need a live test being done, which was what was done. And now that's on permanent record of what alpha software looks like. But it's been good. It's been good. Okay, let's hope this... Come on. Yeah, the bend's not so bad. You can see it. It's going to It'll probably pull the bezel out or something at a later point, but it'll do. His aversion to reading manuals is kind of... Don't let me down. Well, unfortunately, I probably will at some point. It's sort of inevitable. Even in fantastic relationships, like with your ideal partner in life and things like that, there's always going to be a degree of letting down. The case is, I suppose you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Alright, that's working, so I'm happy. Why isn't there still a 100% way to copy Android to Android? Yeah, that is a pain. I mean, unless you're going within the same brand, like, what do you call it? Samsung to Samsung, like their Samsung Switch software. Some of the other phones I've got, they've got their own custom backup software. But you're right, yeah, I mean, migrating between Android phones is precarious at best. Hey, Jan Zimney. Great White North, Frozen Lands. Yeah, Greg, I don't know why their software is so sluggish. Really don't know why. The meter isn't great to start with. It only updates twice a second, so it's a bad sort of start in the first place. But yeah, I don't know why their software is so slow. There's no real compelling reason that I can see. That program is the first one I've written using the Windows GDI, just the plain GDI, straight from scratch in C or C++. It really is just mostly C. Funnily enough, I compile it, and everything is done on Linux, but I cross-compile it for Windows. So I do all my testing and everything like that on Linux. I can run it in Wine, and then I copy it over to a Windows machine and test it a bit more there. So I just prefer to do development in a Linux environment. Obviously, I could have done it in Visual Studio or something like that, but being able to use lightweight software such as Vim and then just running a makefile, it's a lot quicker for me. So. No reason to talk trash about your customers. There may be a customer or two I might talk trash about, but that would be a really unusual situation. Most of the time, yeah, I'll probably, if anything, I shouldn't throw that phone around. If I'm ever going to trash talk, it's probably the people I don't take on as customers. There are some people that you simply, if you've been in business for a while, you learn to steer clear from simply because you know you're going to clash with their personality or what their demands are. And I understand that in classic business school strategy, you need to accept that every person is potentially a good customer and you just have to adapt to their needs. And if you can do that, then they become a very loyal customer after that. And in theory, it is a good theory, and it does work sometimes. But I think what a lot of people are finding is that some people's demands are just too far out, and also the return loyalty tends to be too little. Particularly in a lot of these sort of things where you're theoretically a once-off type service, you may get return jobs. I find that they did it perfectly in Futurama, funnily enough, where they said that loyalty means for $2, someone can get your customer to beat you in the back of the head with a pool cue until you get detached retinas, and that pretty much sums it up. It's a case of people will generally be, or customers will be generally loyal until the dollar comes up or something like that. It's not with all people or anything like that, but I think it's the majority. The market has swung in that way now, where we're very dollar sensitive, more so than before, and loyalty is less of a currency of value. It just feels that way. Yeah, in the last 30 years, I've felt that sort of shift in the market. I had very loyal customers, or at least I thought for a long time here, and they are good customers. But at the end of the day, the thing is, the pressure of the money, the pressure of saving that little bit of money outweighs the value of the loyalty. So it's not so much that the customer is bad or anything like that. It's just a case of the weight of that currency is overwhelming relative to what they get out of being loyal to you. There isn't really, you as a shop, their loyalty doesn't really gain them a massive amount. In some ways, it can actually be counterproductive because I don't know if any of you out there have shops yourselves, but if you have a customer that you know very well and you get along with very well, you actually sometimes find yourself having a tendency to push their jobs a little bit further back in the queue, or getting away with things a little bit more, a little bit sloppier maybe, simply because you feel like you're actually exploiting their loyalty to your advantage, because you're like, oh, well, I've got these new people that are here and they need their job done now and they're going to be very finicky, so I'm going to put everything into the new person who has no loyalty to me, and I'm going to let my loyal customers sort of wear that, take the brunt of that a little bit. And you don't intend to do that, but you do find you do that when you're under a lot of pressure. And I suppose if you turn the table around, that's the same with the customers. They're like, well, I really like doing like what Paul's doing or whoever, but I'm a little tight on money, so this other person that I don't know who's doing it $5 cheaper, I need to save that $5, so I'm going to go with them. And so, yeah, so that's how it sort of turns around. The non-anonymity of the internet and mail-in repairs kills loyalty as well. Yeah, it certainly does. What kind of... Where would you get... Oh, I really don't have anything in terms of AliExpress spare parts for iPhones. I get all my spare iPhone stuff domestically. I could get it internationally from AliExpress, but I don't turn over enough jobs to really warrant that. For me, it's easier to pay that bit extra with a domestic supplier, and if I've got issues with the screens or whatever, I can just send them straight back and there's no problems there. Internal alarm bells go off sometimes. They certainly do. I had a job that was put forward to me a couple of weeks ago, and within the first email or two I knew this was going to be bad news, and I've got other things I need to get done, not just in work, and I was just like, look, I can't do this job. I don't want to do this job. Go off to someone else. So you don't want to throw away your jobs, but at the same time, after a while, you do get that gut feeling of you internally weigh things up and you go, yeah, that's going to actually cost me more time, more emotional trauma, and more money than what that's going to be worth. And so, yeah, you got to make those choices. I do wonder at times whether the traditional market sales pitch teachings aren't some sort of giant conspiracy to make sure that all the new people end up with all the really difficult customers, so that those up the top who have done it for a while get to keep the nice easy ones. It doesn't seem to be working out for a lot of shops though, because people now are getting all the dud jobs that have been worked on 1,000 times over, and no money makers and things like that. So yeah, take your pick. Alright, well, I'm done with this phone. I'm going to write it all up and get the person to come pick it up. I will point out that it is bent. That shouldn't be a problem. Like I said, it is fitting there. It's just a case of it's not perfect, but it's not worth the risk of trying to straighten that out. It could cause some other mechanical damage in the board, and we really don't want that happening. And Krajay, as usual, you are now at the tail end of the stream where I'm about to finish up and scoot, so sorry about that. Yeah, so it was just a short stream. I know it's been a while since I've done it. Things just simply haven't been right. I will try and produce a few more of the repair jobs. I should have a couple more coming up soon. And, I know I'll use the high-speed process on the repair job videos a lot. I think because there are some situations, like if I'm doing an actual tutorial type job, then yeah, I'll go normal speed. But for the rest of it, I think I'm trying the whole go faster, edit a bit more, just cut it to the interesting points, and save the video going on and on and on. Hi, g'day Paul. Been a while since I've seen you. Well, I guess because it's been a while since I've streamed. But, so I'm going to leave it at that. And I will hopefully hit up a few more live streams later. Maybe I'll let it run when I'm doing all my shelving and reworking here, but that would definitely be a little bit on the boring side. A lot of woodwork and things like that. But anyway, until next time, I'll catch you all later. You all take care, and yeah, we'll leave it at that.